Hello, let's take the assets loading out of the main game class. For that I'd like to create a class called AssetsLoader. This should work independently from the game implementation. In this assets object I will keep the data of the loaded assets. Now in the game I will need an instance of a new class. Let's import it here. Now I'd like some way to provide a callback that will be called after all the assets are ready. Yeah, I could simply remove the 4 lines here. But the cut and paste is also not so bad. Now let's take this part to our AssetsLoader class. So the load image and on any load will remain as they were, but I also need a method for requesting an asset to be loaded. And I think instead of using an onload method, you would better use a load method that would return a promise. Now let's take this assets info and request them with the AssetsLoader.add method. And we can get rid of the old code. Let's have an assets field on our game class that will reference the AssetsLoader.assets object. And now let's implement the load and add method of the AssetsLoader class. We will need another object for keeping information about the assets that need to be loaded. So the add method will set a field of key name on the toLoad object. And under this key it should actually save the SRC. The load method will go through the toLoad object and for each of its fields it will call the load image. The key here is the asset name and the toLoad of key is the SRC. The load method needs to return a promise. It might also be nice to track the count of the loaded assets. Now let's fix those few places that are missing the this. Now what about the resolve? We need to get it from the promise and assign it to the this instance. This way it should work fine. Our game class is a bit lighter now. See you in the next episode.